Transparency versus secrecy. Secrets, it appears, have a peculiar propensity to be stolen. This disconcerting paradox that secretiveness often serves as a magnet for theft, rather than protection, prompts us to question the inherent value of secrecy itself. Are secrets a necessary instrument for success or merely a barricade hindering effectiveness and efficiency? This indeed is the contemplation we must explore in the quest to decode the enigma of secrecy in a modern society that seems obsessed with transparency where it does not matter, and secrecy, where it hurts the most. We find ourselves embroiled in a peculiar paradox of our own creation, obsessing over transparency in areas where the stakes are relatively low, while steadfastly maintaining secrecy where it can lead to substantial harm. A society's obsession with the disclosure of inconsequential details in the lives of celebrities, for example, does little to contribute to its collective progress. Simultaneously, cloaking crucial information about climate change, systemic inequalities, or government activities can keep the public in the dark about issues of vital importance. This skewed prioritization of transparency and secrecy is a fascinating conundrum. It raises a critical question: are we, as a society, directing our demand for openness and our need for confidentiality in the wrong places? A balanced re-evaluation of this dichotomy is paramount. We must identify areas where transparency can genuinely foster progress and places where secrecy is vital for protection. This task is not simple, but it is necessary for a society striving for a better, more enlightened future. It is worth pondering whether the pursuit of secrecy might inherently obstruct our collective march towards greater productivity and innovation. For instance, the curtain of obscurity might prevent the dispersion of knowledge, limiting the potential for collective advancements. In a society that increasingly values open dialogue and mutual collaboration, what is the point of upholding this culture of secrets? This conflict between transparency and secrecy is one of the most striking ideological discrepancies of our era, and its resolution may hold the key to reimagining the dynamics of our contemporary society. Consider the realm of medicine, where the secrecy of patient data often battles with the need for transparency in research. While individual privacy is crucial, the withholding of vital health information can impede progress, slowing down the potential advancements in treatment methodologies. This often leads to a catch-22 scenario where both the maintenance of secrecy and its violation seem to hinder progress rather than enhance it. In economics, corporate secrets can inhibit market efficiency. While businesses need to protect their trade secrets to maintain a competitive edge, such secrecy can skew market dynamics, leading to an asymmetry of information. This can stifle competition, impede consumer choices, and even enable fraudulent activities. The story is similar within the field of technology, where the dichotomy between open-source movements and intellectual property rights reflects this ideological tug-of-war. While the former propounds the benefits of shared knowledge and collective innovation, the latter insists on the importance of protecting original ideas. Finally, in the domain of security, the incessant demand for transparency often clashes with the need to keep strategic information confidential to maintain national security. Hence, in every aspect of our lives, we seem to grapple with the same dilemma, the call for transparency versus the necessity of secrecy. In our endeavors to decipher the human inclination towards secrecy, we often overlook the profound influence of our social traits. It is crucial to remember that the insistence on secrecy is not a default human condition but rather an outcome of the societal traits we acquire. Traits like envy, aggression, and manipulative tendencies can induce us to harbor secrets, fostering an environment of exclusion and mistrust. However, it's noteworthy that the phenomena of secrecy extend beyond the human realm into the wider kingdom of living creatures. Various animals also exhibit behaviors akin to secrecy, either as survival strategies or for competitive advantage. For instance, the octopus uses camouflage to hide from predators, effectively harboring the secret of its presence. Similarly, certain birds hide their nests to keep their offspring safe from potential threats. Even within the realm of plants, some species disguise themselves to avoid being eaten, or to attract specific pollinators. These examples demonstrate that secrecy, far from being solely a human construct, is an integral part of life's broader tapestry, underscoring the complexity and profundity of this ubiquitous phenomenon. In a broader sense, we can even perceive the notion of secrecy in the workings of a healthy human body. Each cell in our body operates like a small factory, performing tasks, producing substances, and even communicating with other cells. However, this communication is not completely transparent. A cell doesn't disclose all its information to the rest of the body. It has a specific level of cellular secrecy, maintaining a delicate balance between sharing and withholding information, which is integral to the organism's overall health. Diving deeper into this thought, our immune system provides another compelling example. It operates on a need-to-know basis, a sort of biological secrecy. When pathogens invade, our immune cells swiftly and covertly move to neutralize them. They do not announce their actions to the entire body, nor do they reveal their strategic plans to other cells unless necessary. This element of secrecy is vital for the successful functioning of our biological defense mechanism. Here again, we witness the ubiquitous and complex relationship between transparency and secrecy, not only as societal constructs but also as fundamental elements of our biological existence. The human body, in its complex and intricate design, does indeed engage in a level of secrecy with the brain. A vast majority of the processes that occur within our bodies are hidden from our conscious awareness. We are not privy to the continuous digestion of food, the relentless beating of our hearts, or the ceaseless battle our immune system wages against invading pathogens. This vital information about our bodies remains concealed until a problem arises, at which point the brain is alerted, often when it's almost too late. This internal secrecy is not a flaw, but rather an essential aspect of our survival strategy. Our brains, already tasked with processing an overwhelming amount of information from the external world, are spared the added burden of monitoring each cellular event. In this sense, our bodies uphold the secrecy to maintain efficiency and focus, only revealing classified information when necessary. Thus, even within the microcosm of our bodies, the balance between transparency and secrecy plays a pivotal role in maintaining our health and well-being. Indeed, the principle of need to know applies profoundly within our body's internal communication systems. Many bodily processes are kept under wraps, undisclosed to the brain, operating quietly, efficiently, and ceaselessly beneath the threshold of our awareness. It's as if our bodies have deemed it unnecessary for our conscious minds to be involved in these operations. Interestingly, this need-to-know principle reflects an efficient information management strategy. By limiting the flow of information to only what is crucially required, the body conserves energy and prevents the brain from being overwhelmed with unnecessary details. The brain is only alerted when there is a deviation from the norm, a disease, injury, or imbalance. Thus, even at a biological level, secrecy and transparency find a unique equilibrium, reflecting a deep-seated need to balance information disclosure and concealment for overall system efficiency. Let us envision a future society where absolute honesty is the norm, a world devoid of secrets. In such a landscape, every thought, action, and piece of knowledge would be laid bare for all to see. The mechanisms of society would operate in complete openness, every individual a beacon of unfiltered transparency. Each person's intentions would be evident to others, enabling an unprecedented level of understanding and cooperation. Yet, as we delve deeper into this hypothetical world, we encounter profound complexities. While the elimination of secrets could lead to greater honesty, it could also strip us of our individual privacy and create a sense of vulnerability. Would this absolute transparency breed a harmonious society, or would it create its own challenges? For instance, could the constant exposure to truth, in all its rawness, be too harsh for human sensibility? Or would it foster a more empathetic, understanding society where deception and manipulation cease to exist? The consideration of such a society presents an intriguing exploration of the relationship between transparency and secrecy, challenging our current perceptions and assumptions. On the flip side, we are currently living in an era where information is becoming increasingly difficult to hide. Our world, profoundly transformed by digital technologies, is becoming an open book where secrets are often ephemeral. The advent of the internet and the rise of social media platforms have made it almost impossible for information to remain concealed for long. The speed at which news travels has increased exponentially, turning the world into a global village where a secret disclosed in one corner can become known worldwide within minutes. This new reality presents its own unique set of challenges. With information becoming so fluid, the boundary between transparency and invasion of privacy has become blurred. The challenge of maintaining secrecy in this digital age, whether personal or organizational, is becoming a colossal task. An unintended consequence of this is that we are becoming more vulnerable to data breaches and exposure of personal information. Thus, as we move towards a more transparent world, we must also grapple with the implications of these changes and find new ways to balance our need for privacy with the relentless march of information disclosure. In some contexts, secrecy can be seen as a form of lie by omission. By withholding information, whether intentionally or not, one might be creating a false impression or denying others the opportunity to make informed decisions. This form of lying is not based on false statements, but rather on the absence of truth. From this perspective, secrecy can be seen as a method of manipulation or control, leading to skewed power dynamics in both personal and societal contexts. However, this understanding of secrecy as deception does not encompass the full spectrum of its role in our lives. Sometimes, secrecy serves as a protective shield, safeguarding personal privacy, promoting safety, or preserving the magic of surprise. It's an essential aspect of our existence, without which our lives would become a mere spectacle for all to scrutinize. Thus, while secrecy can manifest as a lie by omission, its implications and purposes are far more complex and multifaceted, influencing the dynamism of human interactions in a multitude of ways. The notion of secrecy, particularly in the context of intellectual property like copyrights and patents, can indeed be viewed as a barrier to the free flow of ideas and knowledge. Imagine an extraterrestrial society where such secrecy does not exist, where the very concepts of copyrights and patents are alien. In this society, ideas are shared freely, innovation is collectively fostered, and knowledge is not a proprietary commodity but a common good accessible to all. One could argue that such a society might be extraordinarily efficient. Innovation would be uncapped, with every entity building upon the ideas of others without legal restrictions or fear of infringement. The speed of scientific and technological advancement could potentially skyrocket as knowledge and creativity flow unimpeded. However, such a society might grapple with its own unique challenges. For instance, without the protection offered by copyrights and patents, would there be enough motivation to innovate, knowing that one's ideas could be used freely by others? Would this total transparency lead to a more equal society, or might it result in new forms of inequality? These questions encourage us to examine the intricate balance between transparency and secrecy, and its implications for societal progress and individual motivation. Should quantum computers become capable of breaking any code, the society we know would undergo a seismic shift, given our heavy reliance on coded information for maintaining privacy and security. In such a scenario, the ability to keep secrets would essentially evaporate. Every encrypted message, every secured transaction, and every classified piece of information could potentially be exposed, leading to an unprecedented level of transparency. The societal implications would be massive. Personal, corporate, and national security protocols would need to be completely restructured. Privacy as we know it might become obsolete, forcing us to redefine our concepts of individuality and personal space. However, this radical transparency could also spark significant innovations in cybersecurity. New, quantum-resistant encryption methods could emerge, making data security a continually evolving field. In a broader societal context, total transparency might foster accountability, as acts of corruption, manipulation, or deceit could no longer hide behind the veil of secrecy. On the other hand, it could also lead to new forms of vulnerability and power imbalance. This thought experiment highlights the intricate role secrecy plays in our society and the potential implications if it were to disappear. The equilibrium between transparency and secrecy is not just an abstract concept but a crucial component in shaping our societal structure and personal lives. Indeed, the erosion of bank secrecy, long a pillar of Western society, particularly in international transactions, marks a significant shift in the traditional balance between transparency and secrecy. This alteration is not only about exposing previously concealed information, but it also signifies a profound change in societal rules and norms. It highlights an ongoing transformation in our perception of privacy and the sanctity of personal data. Such changes are not without their complexities. While increased financial transparency can help combat tax evasion and money laundering, it simultaneously raises concerns about privacy rights and data security. Furthermore, the shift in rules can lead to a sense of instability, as individuals and institutions must constantly adapt to these evolving norms. This highlights an important facet of the transparency versus secrecy dichotomy. It is not just about the amount of information disclosed, but also about the consistency and fairness in the rules governing such disclosure. This underscores the necessity for clear, just, and stable regulations that strike the right balance between transparency for societal good and the preservation of individual privacy. Existence of numerous systems that demand secrecy yet struggle to ensure it provides a compelling commentary on the intricate nature of human societies. On one hand, it underscores our collective recognition of the importance of certain types of information that, for reasons of safety, privacy, or competitive advantage, must be kept out of the public domain. This necessity for secrecy showcases the complexity of our societal structures, where information can be a source of power, vulnerability, or protection. On the other hand, the inability to fully guarantee this secrecy points to the inherent challenges of information control in our interconnected, digitized world. It reflects our ongoing struggle with defining the boundaries of privacy, securing data, and protecting individual and collective interests in an era of rapidly evolving technology and shifting societal norms. These conflicting dynamics highlight the delicate equilibrium societies strive to maintain between openness and conceality. They point to the ongoing tension between our need for transparency in fostering trust, collaboration, and accountability, and the necessity for secrecy in preserving privacy, security, and competitiveness. The constant negotiation between these two poles, transparency and secrecy, is a fundamental feature of our societal organization, revealing the intricacies of human interactions and institutional functioning. Privacy can be seen as a somewhat contradictory notion in our modern, interconnected world. On one hand, it's a fundamental human right, essential for personal dignity, autonomy, and freedom of thought and expression. On the other hand, in a world dominated by digital platforms, social media, and data-driven services, we often willingly sacrifice our privacy for convenience, connection, and personalization. This apparent hypocrisy is perhaps less about privacy itself, and more about the trade-offs we're willing to make in the digital age. We desire the benefits of online services, such as instant communication, information access, and personalized experiences, but these often come at the cost of sharing personal data. At the same time, we expect our information to be used responsibly, and we value the ability to control who has access to our personal details. This delicate balancing act between the desire for privacy and the benefits of transparency illustrates the complexities of contemporary societal norms. It forces us to continuously redefine our concepts of personal space and privacy in the face of technological advancements. It underscores the need for robust laws, fair practices, and user-centric approaches in managing personal data, to ensure that privacy is not a hypocritical notion, but a respected and protected right. It is undeniable that the advent of social media has ushered in an era of unprecedented self-disclosure. Many people, seemingly with little to hide, willingly share aspects of their lives that, in a previous era, even the most skillful private detective might struggle to uncover. From the mundane to the intimate, the flood of information posted on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter has reshaped our notions of privacy. This is a clear indicator of a societal shift towards transparency, fueled by a desire for connection, expression, and validation. The very act of sharing personal experiences, thoughts, and feelings allows people to establish a digital identity, connect with others across geographic and cultural boundaries, and participate in broader social narratives. However, alongside this trend, concerns about privacy persist. Regardless of how open individuals may be on social media, there remains an expectation of control over their own information, a belief that they should dictate the terms of their transparency. The ongoing debates about data privacy, security breaches, and the ethics of data use by large tech companies illustrate this concern. It's a testament to the complex dynamic between secrecy and transparency in our contemporary digital society, a dance of disclosure where the steps are as fluid as the ever-evolving beat of technology. Indeed, the call for increased openness is becoming ever more pressing in our interconnected world. The drive towards transparency permeates various facets of our lives, from government operations and corporate conduct to individual interactions and digital privacy. This urge for openness underlines a belief in transparency as a tool for promoting accountability, trust, and inclusivity. Creating systems and laws that make secrecy unnecessary or undesirable implies a paradigm shift. It would mean designing systems that are fair and equitable, where openness does not lead to exploitation or disadvantage but fosters trust and cooperation. In essence, it would mean creating a society where transparency is the norm rather than the exception. However, this vision of complete transparency should not be devoid of privacy considerations. While it is crucial to strive for fairness and openness, it's equally important to ensure that individuals' rights to personal space and privacy are preserved. This balance between transparency and privacy is a delicate one, requiring ongoing dialogue, thoughtful policymaking, and a keen understanding of evolving societal norms and technological possibilities. The aim should be a society where transparency empowers individuals and institutions, fostering accountability and trust without encroaching upon individual privacy. Certainly, our understanding of privacy is heavily influenced by our societal and cultural upbringing. In societies characterized by high levels of community involvement and communal living, the notion of privacy might be very different from that in more individualistic cultures. In some tribal societies, for instance, daily activities are deeply communal, and individual actions are often inextricably linked with the welfare of the group. Such societies might not share the same perception of personal privacy prevalent in many Western cultures. However, even within communal societies, there can be a level of respect for personal boundaries and an understanding of certain matters as private or sacred. The concept of privacy, though not identical, still exists in some form. It might be less about an individual's solitude or personal space and more about respecting communal norms, safeguarding collective secrets, or honoring sacred rituals. While cultural variations exist, the essential thread that binds various interpretations of privacy is respect for individual boundaries, societal norms, and shared values. Despite the spectrum of cultural nuances, the intrinsic human need for a sense of security and respect for personal boundaries is a universal theme. As societies evolve and become more interconnected, the challenge lies in negotiating these cultural differences and finding a common understanding that respects both community values and individual rights. Inarguably, secrets have played a significant role in the inception and escalation of conflicts throughout history. The withholding of critical information, be it about military strategies, technological advancements, or geopolitical plans, can breed suspicion and mistrust between nations. The lack of transparency may foster an environment conducive to misunderstanding and miscommunication, often escalating tensions and potentially leading to conflicts or even wars. For instance, during the Cold War, the secrecy surrounding the nuclear capabilities and intentions of the United States and the Soviet Union exacerbated the climate of fear and mistrust. The uncertainty bred by these secrets fed the arms race and intensified geopolitical tensions. However, this perspective should not discount the fact that some degree of secrecy can be necessary for maintaining national security and protecting citizens. It's a delicate balance between maintaining necessary confidentiality for protection and promoting openness to foster trust and cooperation. Striking the right balance is a significant challenge that requires ongoing dialogue, careful diplomacy, and robust international norms and treaties. In a broader sense, this raises the essential question of how much transparency is beneficial and at what point it might become detrimental. Navigating the nuances of transparency and secrecy, in both domestic and international arenas, is a vital part of fostering peaceful relations and preventing conflicts. Indeed, secrets can create an atmosphere of mistrust and suspicion. When information is deliberately withheld, it often sparks curiosity and speculation. In personal relationships, this can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. On a larger scale, within communities or organizations, secrets can breed uncertainty and mistrust, potentially destabilizing group cohesion and cooperation. In fact, the desire to uncover secrets is a fundamental human trait, often driven by our innate curiosity and our quest for truth. It's not just about the secret itself, but also about what it represents: power, knowledge, or perhaps a sense of hidden truth. The act of uncovering a secret can bring a sense of accomplishment, revealing previously unknown information that might alter perceptions or influence decisions. However, it's also crucial to understand that not all secrets are detrimental. Sometimes, confidentiality is essential for protecting privacy, ensuring safety, or maintaining professional integrity. The challenge is to distinguish between secrets that protect and those that harm, and to promote a culture of transparency that builds trust and fosters mutual respect. This delicate balance between transparency and secrecy continues to shape our interpersonal relationships, our societies, and our global interactions. Understanding this dynamic is essential in navigating the complexities of our increasingly interconnected world. There's a well-known principle in security and cryptography circles: hiding something in plain sight can often be the most effective method of concealment. It plays off the idea that people tend not to notice the obvious, especially when their attention is directed towards finding something concealed or hidden away. Take, for example, a digital scenario. Encryption doesn't always aim to conceal the existence of a message, but rather to make the message unintelligible to anyone who doesn't possess the correct decryption key. The encrypted data may be fully visible, effectively hidden in plain sight, but the information within remains a secret to all but those who can decode it. However, the strategy of hiding in plain sight is not without its risks. As our ability to collect and analyze data grows, so too does our capacity to uncover things that were once effectively concealed. We live in a world awash in information, where powerful algorithms can sift through vast amounts of data to spot patterns and anomalies. In such a world, the line between visibility and obscurity can be razor thin. Ultimately, the balance between secrecy and transparency is a complex one, requiring careful navigation. As technology continues to evolve, so too will our understanding of what it means to keep a secret and the methods we use to do so.